Hi there, Pretty Plant Girl here. I wanted to give you a little update video on the shade garden renovation that I did earlier this spring. I think it was the end of May, early June that I did this. And then maybe a month later, got a good chunk of hail, knocked a lot of things back. But overall, I'd say it's coming back pretty good. Most things have come up and survived. So I thought I'd give you a look, and you can let me know what you think is your favorite part of this renovation, or what you would change in it. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll have a look together. Okay, so this is the space, and if you look over there, that's the walkway leading into the yard coming up there. This little walkway there, and you come around and we have our deck and our patio, little fire pit area. So this is the entrance to the yard. This is one of the first things people see when they come in, so I wanted to try and make it a nice, inviting space. And I'm hoping that adding a few more plants has done that. I wasn't happy with what it looked like before, but let's have a look. Most of these plants, if you've seen the other video, you'll know most of these plants came bare root. It was an order I made, with a few extra additions, a few things I already had, and a few things that I bought in pots. So let's have a look and see how things are going. The space is mostly shade for the afternoon. You can see it gets a good chunk. It's about noon right now, and the sun's just slowly disappearing. So it gets morning sun through most of it, and then shade for the rest of the day. So let's start here with this beautiful hydrangea. So I bought 2 hydrangeas to put in, and they were actually knocked right to the ground, just to sticks. I don't even think they had leaves left from that hail, and this one has come back just absolutely beautiful here. And then there's another one, I don't know if you can see, it's just peeking up there behind that rock, and it's just, actually I'll give you a closer look, because I thought I'd lost this one. It took a long time to recover from the hail. Sorry, the sun's really bright on it right now, but you can see it was just sticks back there, but it started to come back and even threw it a flower shoot. And I wasn't sure if I should have cut the flower off to let it, since it's recovering, but I left it on because it might be the only year I get it, so I left it on. But that's the hydrangeas. I had this existing Hosta here. I'm not even sure what variety it is anymore, but it's a nice big Hosta. There's 2 hepaticas. They're spring ephemerals, but they've stuck out here. So I have one up there and one here. And then I have Diadecathin, or shooting star. There's supposed to be one here and one here. Now, they're not here anymore. They've gone underground for the heat of the summer. It looks like I have a strawberry volunteering there, and a little blue pansy. And they've just come up on their own. So we'll see what comes of them. Then here on this corner, I have 2 tiarellas. There's that one and that one. And they're coming along nicely. You can see a little bit of scorched leaves. We've had a lot of heat. And I'm not actually sure how these guys will do. They're technically zone 4. I have a couple of plants in here that are zone 4, and we're zone 3 here, but sometimes I can eke out a zone 4 plant. And I'm thinking with this big rock here and being up by the house, and there's usually quite a bit of snow cover right in this area, so I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that they come through all right. In behind this little hydrangea, I have moved, these are 3 false turtle heads. They were volunteers that came up in another part of the yard, and I just popped them back here for now. They'll get much bigger than that, and they'll probably have to be moved around a bit more, but for now that's just where they are. And there's an empty space there where I have a heuchera that I'm planning on moving from another part of the yard to put that into, so keep an eye out for a video on that. And then I have a few hostas. These are first frost, so there's that one. And then on the other side of the fountain, if you pan over, there's another one over that way. So they've come up very nicely. There's supposed to be 3 trilliums, and you can see their tags sticking up there, but no plants, and they never came up. I kept them moist and watered. I dug one of the roots up a few months ago just to have a peek and see what was going on, and they looked healthy and looked like they were trying to put roots out. So I'm hoping that they're just taking their time, sleep, creep, leap. So I'm going to just cross my fingers, keep those spots marked, and hopefully they pop up. But I have heard that trilliums are very difficult to get going. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'm hoping that they pull through there. And then there's a Hellebore. This is Lavoris Niger. Now they got put in, growing too late to actually throw up any flowers. And this is another one of those plants that's technically a zone 4. So again, I don't know if it'll come back and I'll see the flowers, but it's a plant that's a favorite of mine. So I really wanted to try it and see if I can get some of them going here in my garden. Beside the fountain, right about there was a Trolleus, and that one I think just got dried out in one of the heat waves when we were away and just never did recover. But there's 3, I think, more. There's one right, you can just see it peeking out beside the fountain. 4 across the side and 1 there, and there was another one there. So it looks like I had 5, but I've lost 1, and I'm pretty sure it won't come back because it just dried right out there. And then I have 3 of these beautiful astilbes. There's the one there, and there's one on the other side. And if you peek around the corner, I don't know if you can see it, there's one hiding back in the back there. And then I've added a yew. This is a little shrub I really like, is this Hicks yew. And it's supposed to be quite tall and thin. Now this one had a lot of winter damage. It was in another part of my yard. Had a lot of winter damage last year, and I've just stuck it back here. And if it survives, it'll poke up from behind the fountain, and if it doesn't, well, I know I gave it a chance. What else do we have in here? There's the Cornus canadensis, and that's a nice native. It's a dogwood that's kind of a low-growing kind of ground cover dogwood. So we've got 2 of those there. And then I have an Astrantia major. It's a beautiful plant. You might know it as masterwort, right there by the hydrangea. Its leaves are scorching a little bit here, so it might be getting more sun than it likes. So just have to keep an eye on it. We've had some really extreme heat this summer that isn't typical, and it has some nice growth down at the bottom. So I'm just trying to keep it well watered and give it a chance here, because the weather we've had this summer hasn't been typical. So we'll just give it a chance. I also have some Hosta, little mouse ears Hosta here. Try and turn and get it in better light. And then I have a few little volunteer things like this. To me, looks like dichondra, which is sold as an annual pot filler around here, not a plant I usually use, so I'm not sure if that's what it is or not, but I'm just leaving it and we'll see what it turns into. And I have a few, I don't know if you've noticed these kind of grassy things, and again, those I suspect are a gladiola or another relative of the gladiola. It's a peacock orchid, I think sometimes is the name that people use for it. So again, it shouldn't have overwintered, but I'm guessing it just came up in the soil here as small bulbs. I don't think they'll actually do anything. But I had moved some soil from another part of the yard where I had them planted last year, and I'm wondering if they managed to overwinter. So I'm just leaving them, see what happens with them. And there's always a little bit of sedum that pops up in my yard. You can see a little bit coming under there. So I've got a few of those. But I don't think in the other video I had the rocks placed and the fountain going. Got that done. And unfortunately for now that yellow cord is there, but I'm hoping to get some electrical work done so that I don't have to run that cord anymore. And it's just an eyesore right now, but that's part of life. Sometimes you just have things that just aren't quite the way you wanted them, but I plan to try and get some lower growing shrubs in the front here, like real low ground cover type things, like a Daphne or something. So I just have left the rock there for now, and I'm hoping to kind of soften the edge there and that transition between the walkway and the planting bed with hopefully some Daphne, but I'll probably have to wait till the spring to get that in from the garden center. And then I'm thinking maybe some ferns along the back, along the house there, and like I said, I have that heuchera that I want to move in there. So I think it's coming along pretty well. I'm sorry, I know the shadows and the lighting aren't the greatest. It's tricky to get good shots of this area. But I think I'm impressed with how well all these plants came up, especially considering most of them were beat down by hail early on in their life here. So they've come back quite well, except for just a couple there. So what do you think? I'm excited to see next year. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.